think, act, and prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Money Level Show. It is Darrell Dominic, and today we're going to think, act, and prosper. So today I want to talk about what is M0, M1, M2, and M3, and how does this apply to us in our daily interactions with money. So I'm going to explain what it is. Please bear with me. These are some big financial concepts, and a lot of people don't really know about it. So if you look at this chart that I'm placing up right now, this shows like the M0, the M1, and the M2, and the M3. And I want to explain, what does this mean? What does this chart mean, and how does it relate to our money? So let's go ahead and dive right in. So M0 is the total cash in circulation. So this is the cash that is going around the economy, the cash that people have, and they're circulating it, and they're buying stuff. They're buying a cup of coffee, they're buying this, they're buying that. This is the total cash in circulation. So that is M0. M1 is checking accounts plus M0. This is the total balance of the checking accounts and how much is in circulation in our country and how much cash is in circulation. So checking accounts plus M0. All right, so now we go to M2. M2 is savings. These are the money that is saved up in savings accounts and money market accounts, which money market accounts are used for saving as well. They pay a higher percentage for you to have like your emergency fund in and things like that. So savings accounts, the total amount of money in the economy that are in savings, plus the money market accounts and things like that, plus M1. So this is plus M1, so you have plus checking accounts and plus M0. So you have cash in circulation, you have checking accounts, saving accounts, and money market accounts. So now you get to M3. M3 is investment accounts plus M2. So investment accounts, like whether you have a Robinhood, you have a TD Ameritrade, how much money is in that TD Ameritrade, all of that added up together equals M3. But M3 also includes M2, which is savings accounts, money market accounts, plus M1, checkings accounts, and plus M0, which is cash in circulation. So that is how M0 through M3 is broken down. So I want to explain, how does this relate to us? So as we can see on this chart, we see the M2 money supply just skyrockets and go parabolic in 2020 when we have COVID and the pandemic. So let's explain, how does this work? In general, I've explained on a lot of my podcasts and a lot of episodes that the more money that is printed, the less value it has. So I've explained this a few times. Imagine the Mona Lisa, how many Mona Lisas are in circulation and all this different type of stuff. But the more Mona Lisas that are in circulation, the less value it's gonna have. You can even say the same thing with certain baseball cards or rookie cards. Say like you got a Jackie Robinson rookie card or something. And if you have more of those cards out there, millions and millions of those cards, is gonna have less value. So sometimes you see expensive bottles of whiskey that were like made in a certain time frame and they didn't make very many of them, and those bottles of whiskey can go for $30, $40, $50,000 because of less of them, so they have more value. But however, if you have more of them, it equals lesser value. So the more money that is being created, the less value your money has. And when I say less value, that means less amount of things that you can purchase with that money going forward. So, and as we can see, in 1913, the dollar has lost 96% of its value. So that was when the Federal Reserve was created. The dollar lost 96% of its value. And as we can see, that we can't buy as much with our dollars as we once could. I'm sure many of you have talked to, a grandmother or, your parents or whoever who remembered the times where candy was like 5 cents, or who remembers the times where rent was like $100, $200, So the value of our dollars have decreased a whole lot. That's important to note. Then we have to note that from 1776 to 1996, the United States only had 5 trillion in debt. So there's only 5 trillion in debt. Since then, we are now at about 27, 28 trillion. So I want you guys to think about that. So from 1776 to 1996, we only had 5 trillion in debt. 5 trillion in debt. So now look at this debt clock and see how much we have now. As you can see, we are in the upper 20s of debt for our country. So that means that a lot of money has been created, a lot of debt has been created. As you can see, in 1908, I've explained this before, $1 equaled $29 of goods and services today. So $1 back then could buy $29 worth of goods and services today. I wanted to explain this to you all so you guys know that the money supply is continuously increasing and the value of the dollar is going to continuously go down. So we have to store our money in assets and things that pay us to hold our money, because if we don't, then we are going to lose a lot of purchasing power due to inflation. And when I say inflation, not necessarily what the Federal Reserve means by inflation. I mean inflation such as groceries, housing, education, healthcare costs, and things like that. Those prices are continuously increasing, but they're not keeping up with the wages of the average American. Some ways that you can hedge yourself against that, the ways I do it is I buy gold, I buy silver, I also buy Bitcoin and other assets that pay me to own them or to store the value. So those are some things that I do to help me hedge against inflation and to make sure that I don't lose all the purchasing power of the money that I worked hard for. So I want to thank you all for joining the Money Level Show today. I appreciate you all tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and tune in to the next videos that I have coming out. I want to thank you all for your support. All right, peace.